spaces. And as we go through this, we want you to understand that even though we are all engaged in technology as part of our careers up here, we're not necessarily fan people of those technologies. I didn't want to call us fanboys because her hair's short, but she's not a boy. You'll understand the jokes here in a minute. I'll explain them to you. So we are pretty critical about the technologies, and that's one of the things we want to talk about today. Okay, we want to talk about the possibilities, but we also want to talk about the issues that come with using new technology. So, I am Shadow Armfield. I am the Associate Dean in the College of Ed at Northern Arizona University, and I am an educational technologist. So I have been preparing individuals to use technology within the classroom for about 25 years at NAU. And let me have Dawn introduce herself.
And just in case you don't know, NAU is in Flagstaff. Just in case you don't know.
Well, there's one over here in North Valley too.
And in Yuma.
Oh, okay.
I'm Dawn Armfield. I teach technical communication at Embry-Riddle. In case you don't know what technical communication is, that's the kind of, we work in the College of Arts and Humanities typically, or in arts and letters, or arts and sciences. It depends on what university you're at. And we're the people who will take writing and or communications, and we make it accessible. We take really complex language and we make it accessible for whatever audience we're trying to make technical or complex language accessible for different kinds of audiences. So in my case at Embry-Riddle, we're taking really complex flight information or engineering information and making that accessible for lay audiences, and that's what we're helping our students do. At our university, what I'm doing is I'm helping our students understand how to create different kinds of scenarios using AI and virtual reality to do these kinds of things.
Hello, my name is Andrew Oxley, and I am currently a PhD student at NAU in the Curriculum and Instruction Program. When we started this research, I was the graduate student for James, who you'll see up there, and I've recently transitioned into being the practicum coordinator for NAU. So I'm more coming from the graduate student side of this. That's where my information will be coming from, but yeah.
And James Ingram is a part of this, but he's at another conference on the other side of the country right now, and he is a professor of special education. And James and I have worked together for many, many years, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And just in case you're wondering, the reason why I will give Dawn such a bad time is she is my older sibling, and it's my job to abuse her. Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa. All right. Artificial intelligence and with our undergraduate students. And specifically, we're using some of the tools that you've heard about in the news probably very often, like ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, and many others. And what we're doing is we're having our students think about how we can use these to support and ease what we do as professionals. But we also want them to consider what are the problems when we use those AIs as those supports. Not only what are the problems that are coming from the output, but what are the problems with the input? And we'll talk a little bit about that. Go ahead.
So, for instance, I use AI for every single image in this presentation, but can you see any problems with this image? For those of you who can read it, who can see the text.
Colors are spelled wrong. The third bullet.
Yeah, they're misspellings, and I left them in there on purpose. because AI often gets things wrong, right? And I will ask my students, I want you to pay attention to these kinds of things. There are ethical issues, there are bias issues, there are a lot of issues that will be wrong with AI. And I want us to think about why are we using AI and how can it be problematic.
So this study focused on a grounded theory analysis of students' reflections from ESE 426, which is a secondary special ed program. Directing the direction. That's what we're not doing. Of the data, we're letting the data tell us the direction. And so what we did was we took all of our students' reflections, we put them into ChatGPT, and we said, act as a grounded theory, a specialist in grounded theory. You are analyzing student reflections from courses where they're using AI to do these kinds of things. Come up with 5 to 10 distinct categories that the students stated as important to them when they were thinking. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about here. So it's really important that when we're using AI, that we think about what we're putting into the AI, or else we're just going to get garbage back, okay? Now, had I taken this data and put it into a different tool, say Perplexity or Gemini, I might have gotten different categories. It's hard to know. I didn't in this particular case. Sometimes I do use multiple tools just to see how they align and how they don't align, and that's a really important thing as well. So, important pattern, and you can see the inductive approach here is collect data, organize data, get involved in the data, and that's where we not only used the ChatGPT to do it, but then we also went back and we looked at the data, right? Because I'm not going to trust it. I need to know that it told us that it gave me good ideas. Then we coded it and developed the categories, saw if there were patterns, and then we'll talk about those rest of them.
The data centers and the talk about fair use and the talk about intellectual property. Some people are like, well, I'm an artist or I'm a musician and I don't want people taking my work and reusing it for something else. And we had days and days of these discussions, and then we had people making AI art in class and saying, but look, this looks just like so-and-so's art, but now it's my art, and so can I go off and sell it? And we had these discussions right in class, and it got very heated at times, and so we had these discussions right in class, and that's probably why they didn't show up in the data set, because we had already had the discussions all semester long.
Identified in the analysis, focusing on efficiency, how the AI tools streamline the process. Okay, and we'll see what the students had to say about that. Ethical. What our students actually had to say about the ethics of using these tools. And before we get into that, let me just say that if you've read the news recently, I'm going to skip out of here real quick and show you that. Oh, not that. Sorry, when I don't have my eyes on, I can't see. Oh, this came out of MIT and what, 2 days ago? Yeah. And so you can see here that MIT study shows ChatGPT reshapes student brain function and reduces creativity when used from the start. So that's a really important consideration there, this last word, right? If you're starting without ideas, ChatGPT is not going to help you to be thoughtful about what you're doing. It's really important that when we use AI tools that we use AI tools to support our thinking, not to do our thinking. All right, and so we just wanted to share that with you. And you'll see that our data is a little bit different.